There will not be Arctic ice in the summer anymore, maybe within 25 years.
And by 2050, we're going to have 2 billion more people to feed on this planet. In order to do that, you're going to need bees.
We will need regulations to help us make really big picture change. And we need policymakers who take this science seriously to make those big changes.
Climate change is caused by carbon dioxide that's produced from fossil fuel going up into the atmosphere, and it's a greenhouse gas. It warms the planet.
Greenhouse gases are really just a type of molecule that has more than 2 atoms in it. Things like methane, carbon dioxide, even water vapor.
You don't have to go to the Arctic to see climate change. You don't have to go to Antarctica, where I work, and see the glaciers receding. You can be in New York City and see the changes in the flowering patterns of our plants and the birds that are visiting your feeder.
Because of climate change, we're finding warmer environments in some locations, and the bees are not able to adapt to that.
The growing range of spruce trees, other coniferous trees, has been pushed further north as we have warmer and warmer summers and warmer winters as well.
Things like Superstorm Sandy, which happened in 2012, may have happened before the climate started changing. Those types of storms are becoming more and more common with a changing climate. Warmer atmosphere, warmer air temperatures are more capable of absorbing moisture out of the air. It's more capable of holding on to humidity. What that means is it will rain less often, because when there is moisture in the air, instead of it dropping out and raining regularly, it gets held in the air for longer and longer and longer with warmer air. So we get more droughts.
In the New York area, one of the dramatic effects that's been reported are changing habitats for plants and animals.
If we change how much water they're getting, if we change the temperature of the environment they're living in, we're going to expect them to die.
Bees are a vital part of our ecosystem here in New York City and in most cities. The changing cycles of weather have really impacted bees quite a bit. With my hive, for example, we saw a very unusually long summer 2 years ago, which resulted in a giant boom in wasp colonies. Those wasps ended up killing 2 of my beehives. New York City is home to over 700 community gardens and urban farms. A lot of them have bees because bees will actually increase not only the quality, but the quantity of produce. So you'll have up to 71% more fruits and vegetables.
Really what we have to do is we have to stop putting carbon into the atmosphere.
For every ounce of carbon that we avoid emitting into the atmosphere, we buy ourselves more time to figure out how we're going to solve these problems.
Let your elected representatives know how you feel about the impacts of climate change.
Reduce how much you travel by airplane. Airplane is the #1 most intensive per capita mode of transportation.
We can potentially reduce emissions from air travel. So one of the things we're working on is creating biofuels that could replace jet fuels.
The best way to reduce car emissions is eventually to go to electric cars. Not only will cars be driving themselves fairly soon, but that we are moving in the direction of an all-electric car, and that electricity will be generated by renewable sources.
You see companies like Tesla who are developing fully integrated home systems for powering cars with renewable energy. So you have Tesla solar panels that power a Tesla battery that can store large amounts of energy for long periods of time, and then that battery can power your Tesla electric vehicle.
We need a lot of different kinds of renewable fuels. We need to try a lot of ideas. I think duckweed is a very good candidate that occupies a niche that we haven't plumbed very deeply, which is growing plants that don't compete for arable landmass with food crops.
We actually can do a lot to help bee populations resurrect lost habitat, so planting flowers for bees to forage on.
I wish I could say we could take our time and make this very gradual transition away from fossil fuels to renewable energy like solar and wind and geothermal and hydroelectric, even nuclear. And the reason I say that is because these kinds of things that are happening aren't necessarily going to remedy themselves as quickly as we've caused them. This is an urgent problem that is going to be more difficult to address the longer we wait. The quicker we can get on the ball, the quicker we can cut back on fossil fuels and move to renewables, which are energy efficient, which are now cost effective, which create jobs. This is what we need to do to keep the Earth from warming up to the point where we're going to have to pay a bigger price down the road.